understand and hear your heart. Because where you and I may not agree on a lot of things, there is common ground in a lot of other things. And this is one of those projects. Explain a little bit what. Let's go back to the beginning here. When you became president in 2000, and as people may or may not know, that in Mexico you get one term, 6 years, there's no re-election. People spared the re-election campaigns. But you broke the mold. You broke the hold that the old PRI party, the PRI, had for 71 years. Talk about why that was important for democracy in Mexico.
It was absolutely important because the kind of government we suffered on the 20th century, not only in Mexico, but in all of Latin America, gave us an absolute lagging behind position from any other region in the world. Authoritarian governments, military governments, dictatorial governments, populist and demagogue governments. And that's why we in Latin America as citizens did not have the opportunity to grow. We were used to living by the dictator, the powerful, extending the hand and waiting from them to solve our problems. And this never happened. So the need for a change was very profound. The case of Mexico and the rest of Latin America. So after those long decades of dictatorships, we became free, we became democratic, we became citizens as you enjoy in any democracy.
Yeah, and again, it happened. Yeah, and Mr. President, it didn't. People assume, okay, well then why isn't everything perfect now? Well, things aren't perfect in our country either. I mean, obviously you have corruption that doesn't get fixed overnight. You pointed out, and you wrote about this in your book, and we talked about it when I saw you in León, Mexico a few weeks ago, that the way you used to do it, the way, not you, but the way it used to be done with previous presidents of Mexico, the measure of, quote, success was get as much money you could loot from the people of Mexico, then get the heck out of the country and live in exile, right?
Yes, that was the case, but let me tell you why the answer is not here yet. It's because the backlog of, for instance, on education is terrible. We just have 8 years average of education in Mexico, and the rest of Latin America just 6 years average. When leading nations, leading democracies now are well over 14 years average for civic
education, right?
To recuperate and narrow that gap takes time. Number two, income and economy. When your economy was not a competitive economy, we did not have the productivity, we could not compete outside of Mexico with our low production quality manufacturing. That has changed, and things are changing, but you have to wait maybe as much as a generation to get the results that we're all expecting out of those profound changes done at the end of last century. So things will happen, and things are happening each day. Young people have more opportunity to be in school, to have a job. Each day, people have better opportunity to have
2 medium cappuccinos.
Let's show them what a breakfast with whole grain fiber can do.
1 coffee with room, 1 large mocha latte. Medium macchiato, light hot chocolate hot the whip, 2 espresso. Make 1 double.
She's full and focused.
I have 2 cappuccinos, 1 coffee with room, 1 large mocha latte, a medium macchiato, a light hot chocolate hold the whip, and 2 espressos, 1 with double shot.
That's not the coffee talking.
Start your day with Kellogg's Frosted Mini Wheat Cereal. With whole wheat goodness on one side and a hint of sweetness on the other, it's a delicious way to get the nutrition you want.
2 medium cappuccinos.
Let's show them what a breakfast with whole grain fiber can do.
I have 2 cappuccinos, medium macchiato, 2 espressos, 1 with double shot.
That's not the coffee talking.
Start your day with Kellogg's Frosted Mini Wheat Cereal. It's a delicious way to get the nutrition you want.
Was very present, and so we went to the absolute extreme of no church is available to exist in Mexico. So priests were pronounced, and churches were closed, and people revealed again. So you have to find the right point, right on the middle. where church and the state have a good relationship. Citizens have to enjoy the freedom of joining any religion they want. But what is changing in the world today is that over and above religions, now spirituality is taking over. So we all believe in a superior being. We all believe in a God, either Catholics, Protestants, Evangelicals, Mahometans, Buddhists. But at the end, we believe in the same values, the same way of behaving. And we believe on that superior being. And I think that that's the right way to go in this 21st century, because religions become very small boxes when you lose your freedom, when dogma prevails, and not your own culture, your own conscience, and your own thinking. So I think that this way into a spirituality over and above religions break this small boxes where we are tied up and don't enjoy our freedom. Mexico today is God's land, same as the United States. And but I love the spirituality. I'm a Catholic, and I think that's better. And the same thing I think about political parties. I think they submit you to their ideology and don't let you think with freedom. It's surprising that even in the U.S. democracy today, one person is born Republican and dies Republican.
Well, some people,
Democrat.
we get stuck in our ways at times.
Democrat.
Yeah.
When frequently you have a better option on your opposition party, you can have great options on the Republican side or on the Democratic side. So what we have to is evaluate and take a decision without being submitted to ideologies that today don't have any more control they had in the past.
Yeah. Well, and we look for ways to find common ground. We're talking with former president of Mexico, Vicente Fox, and if you want the little instruction on this, just Google his bio and you'll see how crucial it was that he won, whether you agree on every issue or not, but winning in 2000, breaking the pre-party that was corrupt on so many levels for so many years. That doesn't fix all the problems overnight, but we find common ground, and a lot of it is faith-driven. A lot of it's just people trying to do the right thing. This project that brought us together, Sam Castor and the great team with a group called EM2, Eradicate Malnutrition. You know, we know organizations like Doctors Without Borders, they're all good. They've said that food is not enough. Somehow you and your wife Marta said, you know what, we can do something on this to basically work to eradicate malnutrition. And this has no respecter of, there's no border issues here. It's a matter of where are the kids and let's do something, right? That actually got many of us together, whether we agree on every political issue or not.
Yes, I would say that Sam Castor is a messiah, really. He used to work for a nutritional product called Manna, coming from the Bible's name.
Manna,
Now he's got this most exciting project that he already is launching worldwide. And that common ground that you speak about is what brought us together. Personalities like Mohammed Yunus, the creator of the macro lending system that took out of poverty over 100 million families because of the microcredit, were able to overcome poverty. Okay, this man, wise man, Nobel Prize, now he launches another moving idea.
Yeah, this is all about helping empower people. And let me explain real quick, because we get a little bit of the phone issues here, President Fox, so forgive me for jumping in here. But so Mohammed Yunus was the guy who said to entrepreneurs around the world, if the big banks won't lend you money, I will find a way to lend you a micro amount of money to empower people so they're no longer having to beg on the streets and go hungry and turn into radicals or what have you. So what Eradicate Malnutrition is doing, because every 6 seconds malnutrition claims the life of one child under the age of 5. This allows you to buy one and give one in terms of these high nutrition bars, and I tasted these. Are actually very, very good, and they're certainly nutritionally perfect. And this is being piloted in Mexico. And with all the information will be on our website. I'll have it on Facebook and Twitter at Mark Larson Radio, so you can learn more about the project. But the point about this is, President Fox, because of the political issues, sometimes people say, in fact, I got this when I said you'd be on the show. They say, well, why are you going to talk to President Fox? Don't you know he's an open borders guy? Or why hasn't he released or done something to help release Tamarisi, the ex-Marine who's being held in Mexican jails? We get into all the politics, and meantime, these kids who don't know any of the politics are dying. So it seems to me there's common ground in the middle of all the controversy, right?
That's absolutely right. And I was saying that there's common ground on this new moving idea of Muhammad Yunus social enterprises. Social enterprises meaning exactly what Sam is doing. And we got together with Mohammed Yunus right here at Central Park at the Presidential Library. And we discussed this idea, and we decided to join in, all three of us, to launch this idea and becoming a new trend, which is that you can do business while at the same time you're doing social good things.
Yeah.
Related to education, related to environment, related to jobs or income of people.
It's social entrepreneurism. Yeah, absolutely. And what that does, for anybody who says, well, why isn't Mexico, for example, doing more to keep people from having to come into the United States for jobs? Why don't they create more jobs? This is one of the types of things that does just that, isn't it?
Yeah, let me tell you. Yes, that is true up to today. But today, people is moving to the United States as real leaders and people looking for a better life for them and their families, as well as U.S. citizens are moving to China to do business, moving to Mexico. We have over 100,000 U.S. citizens that are working in Mexico, and we don't kick them out. We take advantage of their will, their energy, their commitment to do good things by working hard. So we are doing our side of the job here in Mexico, trying to build opportunities for all these people. But we have to accept America is the promised land. America brought millions and millions of Europeans 100 years ago as migrants to that great nation. My grandfather was one of them, right? An American from Ohio. Mm-hmm. And so as you can see, we're all doing the effort, but as long as we have a 10-to-1 different ratio on income between United States and Mexico, people will try to jump the wall, swim the river, or get to the place where you can make 10 times more money than you make.
Right. So, President Fox, but then how do in that environment? Because the big issue becomes that everybody gets that, the shining city on a hill and income and so forth. But how do you make that happen legally and with the illegal entries? And again, as a conservative, I would say I don't want to break up families. So this is a very complex issue. But Mexico and the southern border of Mexico, there are stringent requirements to keep people from coming into Mexico. I mean, some of the bad guys, cartels, what have you. So. It's a complex issue, but oftentimes people will say, "Well, Fox is for just open borders." Well, that's not the whole story. That's you're basically looking at this in a different way, aren't you?
Yeah. Okay. Finishing the other issue on the Canadian-U.S. border, there is a 1-to-1 ratio. That is what that border is so harmonious, so peaceful. Mexico's border, when NAFTA started, we were at 10-to-1 ratio. Today is a 5-to-1 ratio. So we are advancing. We're narrowing the gap, and that will keep more and more of our people to work here in Mexico. Now, violence. Violence, the consequence of violence in Mexico is produced in the United States. In Mexico, we don't consume drugs significantly. We don't produce drugs, and yet we have the war and the problem here in Mexico.
Right.
80,000 died in the Calderon's administration. And Mexico has to get out of this trap. We just happen to be in between those who produce the drug in the South and those who consume the drug in the United States.
Yeah, the consumers.
And so we're now on the right track. Legalization to me is the answer to this problem. And that's why I'm actively working in California and part of the United States as well as in Mexico to make public opinion understand that we have to move from prohibitions, imposed prohibitions by government, to regulation, like we did in cigarettes, like the United States did with alcohol, like abuse.
Well, and like they're trying to experiment with it in Colorado, and the jury's out. And again, we can agree to disagree on certain elements of this, but there is one clear thing, and that is the way we've been doing it hasn't been working. So that's why I appreciate the fact that there's a dialogue on this. Vicente Fox was former president of Mexico, and I know that you and President Bush, up until 9/11 happened. I mean, here you were newly inaugurated. You come in to speak to Congress, and there was actually some progress on a new way of dealing with border issues. Then 9/11 happened, so that didn't help, did it?
No, but we were very clear because that's the right solution. That's the wise solution, to come up with a framework of regulations, of laws that will attend the migration issue. The first beneficiary of a wise and well-structured immigration reform is the United States. It's the competitiveness of U.S. economy. You know, U.S. economy is not being able to compete with Asia. We're losing jobs to China, to India, to Japan, to the tigers of Asia. We need to regain the competitiveness that we had as North America. And the way we can do that is by a very wise, solid decision on migration. I am not for open borders. I am not for disorder. I am not for people just jumping in and getting into the United States. I'm for a very well-structured framework that will regulate the flows of migration. And if the U.S. economy needs for this year 500,000 new workers to come and do the job that is not being done by U.S. citizens, let it be. Next year, the economy is slow, you don't need that many, and you close the valve. And that's what we proposed back in the year 2002, together with President Bush. Unfortunately, it's that initiative without discussing it. He should discuss.
You know that guy that witnessed that thing he shouldn't have and got put in that program you're not supposed to know about? He gets to go away for a while to a place we can't talk about and eat Velveeta shells and cheese. Liquid gold. Eat like that guy you know. You know that guy that witnessed that thing he shouldn't have and got put in that program you're not supposed to know about? He gets to go away for a while to a place we can't talk about and eat Velveeta shells and cheese. Liquid gold. Eat like that guy you know.
To say the State Department working quietly, had they been more proactive, maybe that would be solved?
Yeah, well, I have to accept on my side that Mexican justice system is not the best in the world. A lot of problems, but yet, I mean, you have to go through a process of judgment, and that's what is being done. Unfortunately, taking too much time, and the drug and the war have moved the judiciary system in Mexico to being, on one side, much more corrupted because of the flows of money the cartels get from the consumption in the United States. They use it here in Mexico to bribe judges, to bribe justice procedures, and to contract kids for the working in the cartels, and those kids sooner or later face death. So the problem is complicated. I think that if this man has a good legal advisor, and there is plenty of good.
No, man, I think they're jamming your phone line now. So we will watch that closely. That confirms some of what my hunch happens to be on that, because obviously there's different systems of justice. But I do think, and I've heard this from some congressional types on this side, that had the U.S. State Department been on it and under the radar, maybe he wouldn't be spending so much time in the system. There may have been a move. So that's a whole additional subject that'll keep on going for another day. We're going to keep our listeners posted here on this Eradicate Malnutrition project. I want to suggest that people, pay attention to that, but also visit the Centro Fox website. Just Google Centro Fox The specific web address is centro, centrofox.org.mx. And you'll see the tremendous work being done there. It's a very impressive library and kind of a think tank center, and it's the foundation there that you and your wife run. Just very inspiring, and I think the kind of thing, if more Americans could see what you're doing there, whether they agree on everything or not, the fact that you, unlike other presidents, didn't flee to Switzerland and live fat and happy in exile. You're caring about the country, and I'm drawn to one of the things you wrote in your book, Revolution of Hope, President Fox, about you and your relationship with George W. Bush. And it kind of states the way I feel about you and our newfound friendship here. You write this: whether or not you agree with everything he says, you know that he believes it. In person, Bush seems like a man who operates from principle and governs from the heart. And I could replace Bush with your name because I appreciate your passion. And it's a pleasure and an honor to know you and Marta, and to have been there to see firsthand what you're doing. We'll talk more, and we'll partner together on these things everybody can agree on, starting with saving kids' lives. Thank you, sir.
Mark, one word more. Here is home for everybody that is on the audience listening to us. It's a beautiful place, an old hacienda. It's where my grandfather came over 100 years ago. And this is where the library is at. And the state of Guanajuato is marvelous to visit the city of Guanajuato, to visit the city of San Miguel de Allende. So not only watch us on the web, but give us a visit. You will enjoy the best tequila you ever tasted. You will have the best enchiladas and mole that is produced.
Oh yeah, the food was muy bueno. Oh yeah, it was excellent. Is that Marta? By the way, is Marta giving you prompts there? Is that Marta telling you what to say in your ear right there?
I love Marta. I love.
Don't forget to mention, come down and visit. All right, President Fox, I appreciate it. We'll talk soon. Hope to see you soon, and we'll get you up to the Reagan Ranch next, all right? Okay, take care.
Bye-bye, and we'll be there.
All right, take care. Bye-bye. It's Vicente Fox. I mean, he is... You cannot listen to that and go, well, and I know sometimes it's kind of hard to understand because he speaks tremendous English because he spent a lot of time in the U.S. Growing up in the educational process, but he is just engaging. Dick Morris, who's another polarizing figure, helped him on his campaign in 2000. And again, whether you agree or disagree, he bucked the grip of the PRI in Mexico. That was a great start. And anybody who thinks, well, that it should have solved everything. You're dealing with 71 years that his party unplugged. And again, he's more liberal than I am on a lot of issues, but the more you understand from someone else's perspective what's going on, the more you come back with this essential truth. And that is, everything you think is so simple and easy to fix isn't. Whether that's Tamarisi or you name these, border security and so forth. And just save your emails. For those people who had visceral reaction, why are you talking to Vicente Fox? You know why? Because I can.